What once seemed like a miraculous place to its early settlers slowly collapsed under the weight of its own debauchery and greed. The land itself is believed to be cursed, and perhaps those who once inhabited the town never truly left. For decades, visitors and locals alike have reported terrifying paranormal experiences there. This is the untold story of Jerome, Arizona, or as some have called it in the past, the most wicked town in the West. But first, I've partnered with Freecash to make this video possible, so a very special thank you to them. Freecash is a fun and easy way to earn real money just by doing simple tasks while you're already on your phone. So stuff you already do, like play games, complete surveys, and other simple tasks can help you turn your spare time into money. You can earn your share of cash, and with over $250 million paid out to users and 60 million users worldwide, my question is, why not? Freecash offers a wide variety of tasks after an easy sign-up process. You can also get rewarded for in-app purchases. And once you've earned and reached the minimum payout, you can easily cash out using instant payout through PayPal, Visa, or even Amazon. After sign-up, make sure to enable tracking so you're rewarded properly, and then check out everything Freecash has to offer. I've personally made it part of my daily routine because extra money definitely never hurts to make. So start earning today and sign up using the QR code on screen now, or by visiting my link, which I'll put in the description and pin in the comments below. And by using my link, you'll get a $10 bonus after completing your first offer. Please support the channel and our generous partner by visiting the link and checking out Freecash today. Now, let us begin. To tell this story properly, let us first start at the beginning. Long before Jerome existed, the land around Cleopatra Hill was inhabited by the Yavapai people. The region's harsh terrain and mineral-rich mountains were already known to native populations centuries before European settlers arrived. Spanish explorers reportedly passed through parts of the region during the 16th and 17th centuries, though large-scale settlement didn't occur till much later. The modern history of Jerome truly began in the 1870s, when enormous copper deposits were discovered within the mountains. At first, the area was little more than scattered mining claims and rough camps carved into dangerous terrain. But as copper demand exploded during America's industrial expansion, Jerome rapidly grew into one of the most important mining towns in the Southwest. In 1883, industrialist William A. Clark acquired mining operations in Jerome and eventually established the United Verde Copper Company. The mine became enormously profitable. Copper from Jerome helped electrify cities across America during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Telegraph systems, electrical grids, railroads, and industrial infrastructure all depended heavily on copper mined beneath Cleopatra Hill. As wealth poured into the town, Jerome exploded in population. By the early 1900s, thousands of miners from around the world flooded into the community seeking work. Italians, Irish immigrants, Mexicans, Chinese laborers, and Eastern Europeans, and countless others arrived to labor beneath the mountain in dangerous conditions. At its peak, Jerome reportedly housed around 15,000 residents. However, it also began to quickly develop a national reputation for violence and vice. Newspapers across America began to refer to it as the wickedest town in the West. Besides mining, it was becoming known for gambling dens, prostitution, opium use, shootings, violent drunkenness, murder, corruption, and exploitative mining practices. The steep terrain caused buildings to stack almost vertically along the mountainside, and saloons lined the streets. Brothels there operated openly, and there gunfights were common. The constant flow of miners created an atmosphere where death became routine. Mining accidents occurred constantly. Men were crushed by cave-ins, and others suffocated from toxic gases. Explosions underground killed entire crews, and some bodies were never recovered from the deeper tunnels. The danger became so severe that many miners believed the mountain itself was cursed. Jerome suffered repeated disasters throughout its history. Massive fires devastated portions of the town multiple times during the late 1800s and early 1900s. Because many early buildings were wooden structures packed tightly together on steep terrain, flames spread rapidly. Entire blocks burned away in single nights, and consumed by those flames were many residents who were trapped inside boarding houses, saloons, and brothels. Due to mining hollowing out enormous sections beneath Jerome, it began to slowly destabilize the mountain itself. Over time, buildings literally began sliding downhill. One of the most famous examples is the old sliding jail, and it shifted more than 200 feet downhill during a landslide in the 1930s, all while remaining mostly intact. By the mid-20th century, the copper industry had collapsed. The mines eventually shut down, and jobs disappeared. Thus, residents fled the town. Jerome nearly became completely abandoned. At one point, the population reportedly dropped to fewer than 100 residents. Many buildings sat empty for years and decayed. Mine shafts were sealed or abandoned. The silence that settled over the town after decades of industrial noise deeply affected visitors. In later decades, artists, historians, and tourism revived portions of the town, but Jerome never truly escaped its reputation. Instead, it only grew stronger. Perhaps those who perished there never truly left. Some of its famous haunted locations would be the following: the Jerome Grand Hotel. This is perhaps one of the most infamous haunted sites there in the town. Originally built in 1926 as the United Verde Hospital, the structure treated countless injured miners, many of which died there. Stories surrounding the building intensified after it became a hotel decades later. Guests and employees there reported phantom screams, moving objects, apparitions in hallways, elevator activity with no occupants, and sudden cold spots followed by disembodied voices and shadow figures. Room 32 is especially notorious due to reoccurring reports of unexplained activity. The hotel's dark history, combined with its isolated hilltop location, contributes heavily to its eerie reputation. Another famous location is the old sliding jail. This remains one of Jerome's strangest landmarks. The building physically slid downhill over time, as I mentioned before, and many visitors describe the structure as unnerving, even during daylight hours. Reports associated with the jail include apparitions in windows, strange voices nearby. Those who are within its vicinity can be overtaken by strange bouts of nausea, and one always feels as if they're being watched. Some locals believe former prisoners still haunt the site. The Connor Hotel is another famous location. Built during Jerome's mining boom, the hotel hosted miners, travelers, gamblers, and prostitutes throughout the town's roughest years. One of the most famous stories tied to the building involves a woman named Marion Blake, who allegedly died there under tragic circumstances after waiting endlessly for her fiancé to return from the war. And perhaps she still waits. Visitors and staff have reported a female apparition, perfume smells with no source, whispering voices, doors opening on their own, and footsteps in empty hallways. The mining tunnels themselves beneath Jerome are arguably the most disturbing aspect of the town's paranormal reputation. There are miles of underground shafts that still exist beneath Cleopatra Hill, and although many entrances were sealed, portions remain accessible through authorized personnel or explorers. For decades, miners and investigators have reported strange phenomena underground. They've heard phantom voices, seen the apparitions of miners that don't exist. They've heard unexplained heavy breathing sounds. Some have even been overtaken by intense feelings of panic, anxiety, and dread. And if one listens closely, they may just hear the echoes of tools striking rock, as well as many have seen shadow figures deep within the tunnels. Some paranormal investigators believe the underground network acts almost like a reservoir for traumatic energy due to the immense suffering and deaths that occurred there. Others believe prolonged darkness, toxic gases, and psychological stress contributed to many experiences historically reported by miners. Still, the consistency of accounts across generations remains difficult to ignore. Another notoriously haunted location is known as the Spirit Room, is one of Jerome's oldest saloons. Formerly a gambling hall and drinking establishment during the mining era, the building has reportedly experienced decades of unexplained incidents. Witnesses have described glasses moving on their own, apparitions near the bar, music heard late at night when there's no one there. The saloon's atmosphere and preserved historic interior have helped cement its reputation as one of Jerome's paranormal hotspots. There does seem to be some apparitions that aren't necessarily tethered to specific locations. One of these that has become famous is known as the Woman in White. Several buildings in Jerome are associated with her sightings, and descriptions vary, but witnesses commonly report a pale woman near staircases or windows that suddenly disappears, and those who have witnessed her are suddenly overtaken with intense feelings of sadness or dread. And throughout Jerome in its entirety, people have often reported distant screams, whispers coming from empty mine shafts, and voices that seem to be coming from inside the walls of buildings. Seeing various shadow figures or apparitions are some of the most commonly reported paranormal phenomena in the town. They're described as dark humanoid forms. Some are detected as movement in one's peripheral vision. Others are figures standing inside abandoned buildings, or seen as shapes disappearing instantly when eyes are laid upon them or when they're approached. Besides tales of the mountain being cursed, items that have been taken from the site have also been linked to horrible bouts of bad luck. So if one visited, it's best to leave things where they are, or you may just suffer some unforeseen consequences. Today, Jerome remains one of America's most famous haunted towns. It is simultaneously a historic mining town, a tourist destination, an artist community, and of course, a paranormal hotspot. Its steep streets, decaying architecture, abandoned tunnels, and violent history combine to create an atmosphere unlike almost anywhere else in the American Southwest. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, Jerome's history is undeniably soaked in tragedy, isolation, and death. And for many visitors, the town still feels as though something beneath the mountain never truly left. Now, there could be some scientific explanation for some of the phenomena. Toxic gases can cause hallucinations, as can recorded magnetic interference associated with the high mineral deposits within the mountain, and via exposure, mineral toxicity. Could these have played a role in people's outrageous behavior while Jerome was inhabited? On the spiritual side, was a curse placed upon the land by the native peoples to either protect their dead or the mountain itself? Or did the hauntings occur because of the sheer amount of terrible situations, violence, and death over the years? Questions we perhaps may never have the answers to. As for now, maybe it's just the power of suggestion. Maybe it's the isolation of the desert mountain. Or maybe places that experience this much suffering never truly let go of the past. Whether you believe in the paranormal or not, Jerome will forever remain haunted by its notorious reputation and title of the wickedest town in the West. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest episode. It had been a while since I'd covered a haunted place, and I just so happened to come across this one, and it piqued my interest. So I hope it piqued yours as well. Please like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment below of your thoughts, or if you've had any personal experiences there if you visited. Please also check out Freecash and help support the channel by earning some extra cash today. You'll get a $10 bonus using my link after completing the first offer. Aside from that, guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this or any of my episodes. It's an honor to entertain you. Until next time, this has been Cody here at Mystery Archives. Remember to stay safe out there and take care.